What are the 3 types of inquiry calls? I need cards.
I got cards.
Who can tell me, what are our inquiry calls? There's 3 ways people get in touch with us. They are
Services.
phone,
Email.
walk-in, and email. Who said that guy? Can I go ahead over here? Okay.
There is a 4,
Okay.
SMS or text.
That's true. That might link in a little bit to phone, but you're absolutely right. That would be a 4th. So, what the 3 identifiable inquiry calls are walk-ins, phone, and online applications or online inquiries, right? Cool. So, obviously the purpose of this inquiry call is, number 1, primary, is we want to figure out, is this the type of person we could place? Is this somebody we could work with? Could this possibly be a person for an open job? Would this be somebody that I would put on my matrix? Does it appear or sound like this individual may have some sales leads that I could use in my MPC? That's initially what we're trying to find out. And so we're using this inquiry call to weed out the individuals that may not be the best use of our time. You may have heartburn with that? Everybody cool with that?
You have Harper?
You know, I have a little bit of heartburn, and the reason I do is I think that you need to screen in, not screen out. It doesn't mean that you don't validate that they are a person that you can do something with.
Yep.
But you're not trying to get rid of people.
That's right.
You're trying to find the people, and then you always have to have, what can you give them back?
Yep.
That if you can't, you at least offer them something down another path. Maybe it's a
Absolutely.
referral to something else, but you never just say, you're not good for me, because then it's all about us, and it's
Right.
not about them. So
Got
that's
it.
why I have a little heartburn.
You got it. No, I totally agree with you there. We're wanting to screen in. Why, I'm looking for the reason. Bring this person in. Absolutely. One thing I want to hit on, though, is raise your hand if it's hard to recruit right now. We are definitely in a candidate-type market. Candidate-type market means there's more competition for those candidates that we desperately need right now. It means we got to up our game when it comes to our customer service, when it comes to how we make these candidates feel, when we do things like our LinkedIn profile so we look professional. Big part of that, in my opinion, is how are we making these individuals feel the first time or the first impression? And the first impression is that inquiry call. And so I know how busy we all are, and sometimes, not in many offices, but occasionally in an office, an inquiry call can be rushed because we're busy, because things are crazy. So I want you to take a couple of seconds here, listen to this inquiry call, and I want to know what you guys think.
Sports, this is Kelly. Yeah, I was calling to see if you have anything available. And your name? My name is Meg. Last name Meg? Smith. S-M-I-T-H. As of now, I don't have anything. Meg, I don't have you in our system. Okay, so what do I need to do? You would have to come into our office and get registered. We're located in the Moore area. Okay, where? Would you like the address? Sure. It's 8516 Main Street, Suite 10, Moore, Oklahoma 73160. So I just come in and then I go ahead and schedule you in. What position are you looking for, Meg? In an office, clerical type work. Okay, are you bilingual? No. What's your minimum per hour? What do you mean by minimum per hour? Your minimum pay? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's $16. Okay, I can get you in on Thursday, Meg, at 9 o'clock in the morning. Thursday at 9. Let me check to make sure that I can get there. Then can I call you back? Yeah, not a problem. What's your name again? Kelly? Kelly, thank you. No problem. Bye. Bye.
What'd you think?
That was awful.
Why? Why was it awful, Jenny?
They were not, the FOC number 1 was not interested in the candidate. She didn't take any time with that person at all, other than finding out the person's name, not what they are interested in, not what their availability might be. What is their goal? Do they want long-term employment? Do they want seasonal employment?
We didn't learn a lot about the candidate, did we?
Not even that, you didn't even have a phone number. You didn't have a phone number to call this person back, and she's $16 an hour. That means she has some type of skills, otherwise she wouldn't be asking for that. So I mean, even to walk through the whole step regardless, even if you just do it as an inquiry, even without bringing them in.
We
So-
spewed our process to somebody,
Yes.
and we did, absolutely did. I felt like Kelly was rushed.
She didn't even ask about past work experience either. I noticed. Skills, nothing.
Nothing.
And guarantee that person's back there. Guarantee.
Absolutely.
She's gonna move on to someone else.
I try not to hang up until they've made an appointment and get them in. I was like, well, are you sure you can't come in today? Well, what day's good for you? What time of day is good for you?
That's right. But probably after we learn a little bit, to make sure that they are somebody we,
Yeah.
we want to have come in, through the door. So, yeah, you know what? That wasn't necessarily a short call, was it? But we didn't really find anything out. So good. The inquiry call is not about discussing our process with them yet. It's about learning about the candidate. It's about having a business conversation with somebody to see if there's going to be a way to help each other, right? Cool.
And listen, I just asked them, what have you been doing for the last couple of years?
Good.
When we're hiring for forklifts, when we're hiring for general labor, whatever it is they say, I'm sorry, I feel sometimes to go, oh, we're hiring for that.
Well, we are hiring for that.
Yeah.
We may not have an open order for that right this second, but we are definitely hiring for
Let
that.
me get you in here so that
Sure.
we can get your information out to the clients.
Okay, good. So I hear urgency.
Yeah.
That's the big word I'm hearing with you right now. How many of us think support have some urgency in these inquiry calls right now? Huge, 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 huge. We've got to have urgency right now. If it sounds like it's going to take 2 weeks for me to get something with this company, and then I talk to Carrie later on in another office, and she's like, let's get you in here today. Let's get you going. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to spend my time? I don't want a job 2 weeks from now. I want a position tomorrow.
Well, I think you have to go back to the comment we had earlier, which is we're in a candidate short market, which is we have to have them feel that we are interested in them,
Ben?
not, gosh,
We're doing you a favor.
we're doing you a
Here's our
favor.
process.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so it's really, you have to shift, and that's a tough thing, because for 3-4 years, we were, as an industry, screening people out, because like everybody was looking for a job, and we were trying to find who was the needle in the haystack.
Bet.
And we have to mentally shift what we do.
We do.
So-
We have to play to our market. There are times when we have to be real selective, and then there are times when we have to really sell and be excited and really create that sense of urgency. So,
One thing I always ask though too, Joe, is we always ask, how'd you hear about us? That's one of the
Yeah.
biggest things, because we put that in our marketing of our inquiry call.
Well, isn't that part, that's just part of your.
It is.
It's part of the,
Let's
you
use it,
know,
Joyce.
go
Yes.
down your list.
Yes, it is.
The thing with these calls, whenever we play a call for you, these aren't just, okay, let's write a script and come up with it. At varying points throughout the year, we'll do live calls out into the market depending on what franchise owners ask for, developers, and then we change the names and voices to protect the innocent. But this is a
That's a real
script,
call?
that's a real call. That's what really happened, and we just had other people read the script that we took. So,
Yeah.
so let's listen to another one. This one's a little bit louder, sorry.
yeah.
Express Personnel, this is Debbie. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm looking for an office job and was wondering if you could help me.
Well, we don't have any office jobs available at this time. If you go to our website and fill out an application, then we'll call you when something becomes available.
Okay, thanks.
Goodbye.
Bo's gonna faint over here, I'm over here for support.
You
Oh,
guys,
she got
hey,
failed.
not kidding, if you all want to hear a great inquiry call the Bozeman office. They do a great job of it. It's not rushed, but what'd you think about that call?
That wasn't a call, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got back to the 15 other things that she was doing at the moment, wasn't she? Oh, we don't have any jobs. Sign me up. If it'd be okay, I'd like to spend 30 minutes filling out an application since you don't have any jobs.
For nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just not cool. Not cool. So, here's the thing. Obviously, this lady who was on the phone was busy. She probably had 15 people in the lobby, a client on line 2, and franchisee was asking for something else at the time. She was busy, and she had probably taken 25 other calls in the last hour that were similar to this one. But that was the first time this person has ever had any experience with Express. What is this candidate gonna say about Express when they're at a barbecue Friday night?
Or on Facebook.
They don't have any jobs, they're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I call that place, what, second rate?
Yeah.
Think about that, guys. This is huge. I mean, we're in a branding market right now. We've got to brand ourselves, especially if we're wanting to dive into these skilled industrial and administrative roles. Big way to brand yourself is how are you making people feel? And inquiry call, it didn't get any bigger than that. Sorry, here's the third one.
This is Peggy. Can I help you?
Hi, I was calling about the warehouse job.
Okay, great. Can you tell me your name?
John Hine.
What's your phone number?
It's 445-9689.
John, how did you hear about us?
From the ad in the paper that says you're looking for 13 people.
Oh, excellent. We really need some good associates for that position. Do you have warehouse experience?
Yes, I've worked over at Maxwell's for about 6 months in receiving.
That's great. Now, we just need for you to come in our office so we can get you started. Can you come in this afternoon or first thing in the morning?
Yeah, I think so. First thing in the morning.
Okay, also, the earlier you get here, the faster we can get you qualified for work. Why don't you come in early to beat the rush?
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you first thing in the morning, and don't forget your IDs. Do you know how to get here?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. We'll see you tomorrow.
Is that a candidate coming in tomorrow? First thing tomorrow morning? Sweet. And some offices will set a time, others will say we can come in between these hours. So that may be a deal breaker, depending on the candidate. What did she learn here?
You've got another company that you can call and you want to bring that one in, and if that's something that they're looking for anyway, they can actually use that as a recruiting tool as well.
I know the skill set. I know that he's been working. I know what type of role he's been working in. I got a sales lead that I can call on. I got a phone number in case he doesn't show. All right? Good stuff. Follow the script, but do it very excitedly. Do it with urgency in your voice. It is something that will take time. It is something that it takes additional time to do a good inquiry call. It does. But think about the time it saves you. Think about the back end time. Think about getting that candidate that you desperately need because you asked additional questions and you found out that, oh my gosh.
You're shifting the efficiency from your processing the person
Yeah.
to your attracting the person. And that's a mental shift that is what we're now facing.
Absolutely, and I think we're starting to assign an urgency level to the candidate as well. This is a candidate with a skill set that is highly marketable, front of the line, and we're starting to assign kind of a process or a system to our time. This is A plus priority type of an activity, and we all said it this morning that we wanted to get better at time management. This is one way to do that. Dig into the inquiry. All right, off my soapbox. We're gonna quit talking about inquiry calls, but they're huge, guys. Big time. Record yourself next week when you do an inquiry call. What does it sound like? I want to hear it, Penny. I want to hear it. All right.
When are you gonna come in?
It's urgent. Less than 50% of online applications have been responded to nationwide. The Franchise Systems Department does lots and lots of tools and tracking of all of our data. Last year, less than 50% of online apps got a response. Does that sound like your office, or does that sound like a crazy statistic? Could be our office.
We actually have one person who is supposed to be helping us manage those, but we all look at those in our own postings, but then there's someone who's just generally reviewing them.
Sure.
And, but I would say that he's always, I couldn't get to it, this happened, that happened, I couldn't get to
Too
it.
many of them.
And then, then I have a day that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and look at every posting that I've got out there and all these applications I got halfway through and then I don't get to it. So, so it's bad, we know we're trying to work on that, but.
You were very good.
Oh, good, I'm glad, I confess, so.
Don't do
We're all
wiggles,
friends.
don't do wiggles.
Wigs. Anybody here do wigs?
That's every week, that's our FOC's wig goal, is to contact every online, make sure you do the inquiry, get that's one of the FOC's absolute goals are to be.
Everybody gets a contact.
Yeah.
So, when we talk right now about, we've got this drastic candidate crunch, we need the people, don't have enough people to fill all of our job orders, and yet, nationwide, over 50% of our applications go untouched. So my question is, you guys remember, I've sat in the seat, I get it. Is this a recruiting crunch that people aren't available, or are there tweaks to our process? Are those people out there, is that information out there, we're just not capitalizing on it in a timely, efficient manner?
Option B.
It's a question.
Yeah, option B, number 2. Yeah.
But, and it may be both, but if there's any way that we could, increase that level of candidate or reduce that candidate shortage, wow, what an opportunity that we have. So, one of the first things we can do is we always say look in-house first. And so your office, if you look at this statistic and you go, we don't really have somebody in our office who's in charge of making sure that every application is responded to, or every online application on a daily basis is at least looked at to look at the skill sets, write that down. That's important. Because somebody that applies today, we don't want to look at them next week. Remember the recruiting window right now. Good, solid candidates are not sticking around for weeks at a time. They're gone tomorrow. 24 hours, 48 hours, and they're gone. So what's your plan as an office to make sure every one of them is viewed, and then how do we respond to them? Guys, I get it. We're not going to call everybody with Taco Bell experience and have a 25-minute conversation with them. Nope, we're not, certainly. And we don't necessarily even need to have a long conversation with every one of them, but we do need to give them something. David just said it. We either need to get them in for an interview, or we need to give them the next step in the process. And so one of the things that we suggest that you guys do, if you are having a struggle with not getting in touch with or giving a connect to applicants, is to use your safe signature line as email responses. Anybody doing this already? Get those canned responses ready to go, depending on the scenario that you're seeing from the candidate. Oh, they don't have the right level of experience. Oh, they're not from this town. I don't know why they clicked on Howell, Michigan. They live in Daytona, Florida. And it's wintertime, and we know they're not coming here. But whatever it may be. So set up multiple safe signature lines, and then you can quickly contact those individuals. So to do that, anybody, I asked for a hand. If you're doing that, good. Anybody else doing that? You guys are doing that as well? Awesome. Well, we can run through this real quickly then. But basically, if you're not doing that and you want to use that, is you want to go to the file, when you go to Outlook, go to File, and then click on Options. And then over on the right-hand side, about halfway down the page, there's a box called Signatures. You're going to click on Signatures, and then you're going to give it a name. So one of them may be out of town, or not enough skills, or wrong skill set, whatever, you name them. You know what's going on in your office. Just name it. And then you're going to apply. You're going to write the email message out in that, and click OK. And so then all you do is you go in there, you find that individual, click on that save signature line, and it's going to craft that email for you. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, but we at least reached out to that candidate. Cool? Questions? Different ways that you guys are doing it that would be even more efficient than that.
Think about though all those people that never hear anything from you, what that does to your building your brand in your community. That's so frustrating for applicants. They apply, they hear nothing. They're not gonna have a good taste about Express. So think about that.
I know that I get inundated with emails with applicants. That's where I need to, I sometimes feel like I just get lost in these emails. And I'm sure I'm one of those that I'm not responding to every single one.
The applicants are emailing you directly.
How are they getting your email?
Well, because we'll do, like an app, we do Connect in Colorado, where we post it, we say, we'll do a blast and say, like for admin, they'll send it to me, so I mean, I can come in and have like 20 emails just
resume, I just quick print it and then throw it aside, so I'm killing trees, but it's what I have to do. And so then I have them there, and so then one day I may just call through all those resumes. Because I'm looking at the resumes, I'm calling them back, I'm not responding necessarily to their email. Now, if I can't get a hold of them, I might pull up their email, send them back that, hey, give me a call, I want to talk to you about your resume. But 30 minutes a day, non-prime time, either early in the morning, late at the end of the day. I make the calls, maybe I don't get a hold of anybody, but I make those calls, leave a message, then they call me back throughout the day. And that's the best way I found to manage it.
Now, I know because Becca does, she just like kind of archives them into,
I separate different
Separate.
folders. I have like 3 different folders. I have one that's like a main resume folder. And those, like, if I don't get chapter 1, they're going forward. I put them in that folder, and if it's like at the end of the day, like last 30 minutes in the day, like I'll go into that folder and I'll respond back to them, so at least I can touch them. And then from there I can save, then I sort them into a different folder where I want to bring them in or they don't associated with myself.
I do that. I have a file in my Outlook too, under categories, so if they're responding to Shabine, supervisor or high-low or whatever, I put those resumes in there as well, so then I have them saved. But if I just don't have time to even do that, I just quick hit print, and then I've got them and I can just call through them. So it's like, those are viable leads I don't want to lose, and I don't trust myself, even though I know that the best laid plans is to do it that way. That's been my fallback.
And I think a lot of times when we, as inside staffing consultants, when we see all of those resumes start to pile up,
Oh, yeah.
our
it's
intention or
daunting.
our thought is, oh my gosh, I've got to get those people called back right now. I don't know if you guys are like me, but like if I have one of those emails that I haven't looked at yet and it's bolded, I'd like it eats at my inner folder. I gotta talk to it. So, one second, I'll get to you, David. But it's, we don't have to respond that second. What's important is that we respond in a somewhat timely manner. Timely manner doesn't mean 10 minutes. Timely manner could mean, at the end of the day, like kind of what we're saying here. So I'm a huge fan of what these two just said, and they do it in a little bit different way, but what they're doing is they're taking non-prime time hours and they're focusing in on, okay, I've got to get back in front of these candidates or I've got to do a next touch with them. And we'll talk tomorrow or this afternoon when we talk about NPCs about doing things in a consistent manner and being able to knock those out. And it's amazing if you give yourself some focused time. Hey, calls don't come to me right now. I'm getting these done. I need 20 minutes. It's amazing what you can do if you'll kind of cluster those calls or cluster those emails that you send out. The other thing I want to hit on too is that if you all are getting emails that are coming to you for positions, the tendency there, and again, this is just Joe, but the tendency, I think, when we get these candidates coming into our inbox is that we are going along working and doing great, and then ding, resume, and we stop everything, and we open that resume, and we go,
Well,
Taco Bell. Oh, no, I can't use that guy. Oh, there's a squirrel. I'm going to turn around in my chair. And it's so hard to get your mind back on what you were doing. So pull those resumes into a folder and then take time to go through there and do something with those candidates if you're getting dragged down by the bunch of the candidates. Cool?
Yeah.
Well,
David,
I was gonna say, so
yeah.
there's two parts to that. One is, if you do not have your notifications turned off, then you're gonna be interrupt driven. In Outlook, a lot of people leave, they like the ding, they like the pop-up, they like the little flash in the lower right-hand corner. That is a huge disruption, because that's not how you're making money, is doing that. The other is, not getting back to candidates is a killer, because they will contact you. And in fact, they will suck your time up. If you don't let them know that they're not right, you're actually doing them a disservice. And I know that we think that it's a tough thing, but we've asked them to contact us, and then we need to follow through on the other half of that social contract, which is we have an obligation to get back to them. Because as we've moved from a candidate surplus market to a candidate short market, our reputation of how we treat people is what's going to drive the next, really the rest of this decade.
I mean, we are
In some
very
sort.
paranoid about checking emails because we've gotten in trouble many times with management because their main concern is our client and that they want us to respond within minutes, of these clients. And sometimes, know, we're in interviews and it's like, how do you, it's almost like catch-22, how do you juggle that? Had a client call management because it had been 45 minutes and I hadn't responded back, but I was in the middle of interviews. And, you know, so it's like, so you have to look at emails just for that very reason, so it's like.
Thank God I work for somebody who don't do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what, I say, I have like 6 different draft emails that I've saved. So if I just click it, for me, I can't do the 5,000 emails blaring at me. I look at it, open it, they have a certain experience, I just highlight their email address, and it already says, hey, this is Penny, I just got your resume. Everything I need to know is already in that email, so I just save it as a draft and then just plug in their email and go, hey Brett, or hey
Yeah.
Dave, you know, whatever.
So a little bit different than what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
accomplishing the same
Yeah,
thing, so.
it makes it much easier.
Cool.
That way I don't have it all at the end of the day going,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Good. David, I completely agree with you, man. These buzzes and dings and everything that we have pulls our time away, and it's I just know from firsthand experience that anytime I haven't, I mean, I'm thinking about my phone over there right now. I probably got emails that I haven't opened, and so the more we can get away from that, focus on the important. You'll hear me talk a lot about important and urgent things in our day, and the urgent wants to keep the important every time. And the urgent are things like career builder applications coming through, or client candidates calling in to want to see how many hours they have till they go perm, or what have you. It's stuff that is, it's a fire, it's a squeaky wheel, and our tendency is to want to get that done. Fight it. Fight it. We're going to get more into that in time management. I don't know how we got there, but it's fun. All right, I need like another 2 minutes. So, let's move to a second and let's talk about a candidate that we find. Let's say they've either applied to an online ad, or let's not say that. Let's say that we're out on Career Builder, we're out on Indeed, we're searching candidates, we're looking for people. How do you guys approach a candidate that you find online? Whoa, I'm looking on Indeed and this guy's a 3-year accountant at XYZ Corporation. Those people are really smart. I want to call them. What do I do? How do I approach this individual? Do you guys pick up the phone or do you email?
No, I pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone? Okay. How many of you guys email first? Consider picking up the phone and calling them
And sending
and sending an email. And here's why. When we start, now that we're getting into this candidate short market, a lot of our candidates are working. And they may not be able to pick up the phone from Express. However, and then some of our candidates, you know what? I'm guilty. If I don't know what number's calling me, many times I'm like, I don't want to talk about donating this week. I'm going to hang up on that, or I'm going to wait for them to leave me a voicemail. So a lot of us are guilty of that, and if they don't know your number, they may not pick up. But here's what I do. I'm going to call, I'm going to talk to them if they pick up, or I'm going to leave a voicemail. I'm also at that time going to craft, kind of while I'm leaving the message, I'm going to grab one of my canned responses, and I'm going to save it in my drafts. And then later on in the day, so I'm not doing it at the exact same time, I'm going to send all those drafts out so that they've got not only a voicemail from me, but then at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they're winding down their day, they're getting a reminder going, oh yeah, that guy from Express left me a voicemail. He just sent me an email with his contact information. I got to remember, that's fresh in my mind now when I'm driving home and I'm calling back. So
I'm gonna suggest people consider the texting as well as the voicemail. People will, we use Call 'em All, we use several different, we leave messages. We find that ZipWhip, which many people, it's something that Express has an agreement with, that sending a text, they'll read the text before they listen to the voicemail.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what, man? You said it earlier. You said what used to work doesn't always work now. And it's so true. I'm telling you right now, if you would ask me to text my candidate, like, whatever, I'm not doing that. That's weird. I don't even like to text my wife. Text candidates. But you know what, man? You have to now. It is absolutely. People respond. They can get to their phone. Totally agree with you, man. Text them.
People email follow-up until I've actually talked to them. I want to be able to have that conversation so that they can hear, my enthusiasm and my voice about what I'm trying to do to to recruit them, so that I don't sound like everybody else. I talked to a guy the other day that I was recruiting, and the positions that I recruit for, you know, I mean, you really have to set yourself apart from other places, but, this one guy, he called, he said, because the only reason that I actually am talking to you is because you're the only person that I've talked to, because I get contacted by recruiters all the time, but you're the only one that doesn't sound like a temp service. You know,
And I wanna make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to that email, is it's not, hey, I've got this great position you'd be great for, because I actually know nothing about you, but I'm telling you this, we're not selling on a position, because I totally agree. You know, you wanna have that conversation, but the email is just simply, hey, call me, let's talk if you have a minute. It's here's my contact information, not here's the job I was thinking you'd be a fit for.
There's a bit of a tease. You have to
Yeah,
have a tease
sure.
in there, which is, I have something enticing that is urgent that I speak to you about, is what you're doing. So you're not dumping your briefcase, because that's what all the other firms do, is
Got it.
briefcase dumps.
You got it. So, things to keep in mind for our sourcing conversations. We call them. We call them. We got them on the line. Now, how do I set myself apart? How am I different when I'm talking to these candidates that don't necessarily just need me? They get lots of different opportunities. Sound excited. Number one, first and foremost, be somebody that is somewhat interesting to talk to. Hi there, this is Joe from Express. I saw your resume on Career Builder and it looks awesome. I was wondering when I could call, I wondering when you could come in and I could take you through my 2-hour process. Boring. I'm just gonna come and see you if you sound like that. Gotta get excited, be specific, get excited about specific things on the resume. I saw that you worked out at XYZ Corporation. I have placed people from that company before and you all have fabulous attention to detail or Excel skills or whatever it is. But talk about specifics to get that candidate excited. Be somebody that they want to talk to. Everybody in here has different personalities. So I get it, not everybody's going to be woo, but we can all be compelling in our conversations. We can all be excited when we get on the phone. It might sound different for me than it does for David, than it does for Mike, but we can certainly sound like we're interested. You know, that old Susie Gamble used to always talk about, before you call, look in the mirror and smile. And I used to think, oh dude, come on, really? It really does work. I'm not even kidding. I'm a big fan of it. Look in the mirror and smile. Number two, uncover interest. The first conversation when we are talking to these candidates, we want to uncover their interest. Fight trying to sell them on the first conversation or at the beginning of the conversation. Are you taping me right now? Okay. So fight. That thing loaded? So fight the urge to tell them about how great Express is or how you have the perfect position for them. Because you know what? You don't know if you have the perfect position for them. How many times have you guys seen an accountant, 3 years of experience at an insurance company, you have a job order for somebody with 3 years experience at an accounting with insurance background, and you call them up and you're excited and you call them into the office and you bring them in and things are great and you just fly right past the part that, oh, they don't actually want to do accounting anymore. They've got it on their background, but they want to be a surfer now.
Yeah.
Whoops. So we don't know if we have the perfect job. The goal in that first conversation is to uncover interest. What do you want to do? You know, why did I find your resume on Career Builder? What's it going to take for you to make a move? You know, let them start talking about the fact that they just moved out in the country. Their job's on the east side of town. They live out far out west, and they hate driving across town all day. And you know what? Location is a big key to them. But let them talk about the fact that they just got passed up third time in a row for a promotion. They feel like they need to look elsewhere, whatever it may be. But let them talk about that, and then you've got something to sell to. Then you've got something to talk through. Oh, and you better listen. Repeat back to them what you're hearing. Key in on those points that they're talking about. Repeat them back to them. Ask questions around those. Again, guys, it goes back to how you make them feel. People can tell if you're listening to them or not, can't they?
Yes.
It's huge. And then finally, we already talked about it. Be mindful of where they're at. Can they talk? If they can't, try to find out when you can reconnect. Can I call you at 5? Would it be better if I 5:30? Here's my cell phone number. If it's after hours, call me then. Right? I already talked about that. Don't sell anything. Okay, who's hungry? Me. Me too.